Hi friends, Kelly here. So, have you ever painted a painting and it has been super flat feeling and you just can't quite figure it out even though you've used beautiful colors? Well, in today's video, I'm going to talk about monochromatic paintings and one of the most important artist skills that you can develop, and that is understanding your values. I think for us as artists, by limiting our color palette to one single color, we can then focus on the light, we can focus on shadows, on contrast, and creating depth in our paintings. I'm also going to share with you the behind the story of why I've now painted this painting more than 3 times. I will say that painting the same painting 3 times is somewhat of a challenge. It's not quite as easy as it may sound, and each version I think taught me something differently. So in this video, we're going to talk about what a monochromatic painting is, why values count more than color, how doing a monochromatic study can help you in your artistic skills, the challenges of painting the same painting more than once, and some tips into creating a stronger contrast within your painting. And I would love to know in the comments down below, have you ever tried to paint the same subject matter more than once or same painting more than once, and how did it go for you? Did you find it easier? Did you find it harder? Or was it just simply different each time for you? All right, well, let's get into it.
Hello, my art peeps. So let's talk about why monochromatic paintings can improve your watercolors. Have you ever done a watercolor painting and it feels flat? Maybe you've used beautiful colors, you have followed all the steps to the T, and yet something just feels off about it. Well, the problem might not be your color choices at all, but it might be your values. So today I'm painting a monochromatic watercolor using, for the most part, just one color. And by the end of this video, I'll show you why limiting your palette might actually be one of the fastest ways to improve your paintings. And there is another challenge with this painting. I've actually painted this exact scene over 3 times. The original sold in my Etsy shop, and every time I paint the same subject again, it teaches me something new. So while you watch this painting come together today, let's talk about values, monochromatic painting, and why recreating a painting isn't always as easy as it sounds. All right, so if you've ever painted the same subject more than once, let me know in the comments. Did you find it easier, harder, or was it just different each time? You ready? Let's just jump into this one. So as I begin layering these first washes, I am keeping everything super light. I did sketch this one out, and you will notice I'm using a 5x7 sheet of paper, and I grabbed my smaller mat because the original one that I sold was matted to a 4x6. So I'd like to make sure that I've got, first of all, everything in my painting within that mat because I am recreating one that I've already done. So I want to make sure everything is as close to the original as possible. So one of the biggest advantages of working monochromatically is that it forces you really to focus on value rather than the color itself. So when most people look at a painting, the first thing they notice is color, right? But what actually creates depth, form, and atmosphere is actually the value. And value simply means how light or dark something is. So in fact, many artists consider value really more important than color itself. And you can have a beautiful, colorful painting, but if your values are all too similar, the painting can feel very flat. And on the other hand, if you have strong values, it can make even a simple monochromatic painting feel very powerful. So that's why monochromatic studies have been used for centuries as a training exercise for artists. What they do is help you train your eye so that you can see light and shadow more clearly. Now, a lot of folks will actually take a photograph and turn it into a black and white painting or a black and white photograph, and that can help you see or help you train your eye better to see where those lights and darks are. And this is an area also where artists will often struggle. Without lots of color competing for attention, it's easier to understand what's actually happening in a painting. So as I'm working through these early stages, I'm really paying attention to preserving my lightest areas. Now, watercolor is unique because the white of the paper often becomes your brightest highlight. So once those highlights are gone, it's really difficult to get them back. So even though this painting may look simple right now, I'm already starting to think ahead about where I want my strongest contrast to be. So one of the things I love about monochromatic painting is how relaxing it feels, because there truly are fewer decisions this way. Now, I'm not worrying about mixing 10 different colors. I'm just simply adjusting the amount of water and pigment to create lighter and darker versions of the same hue. Now, sometimes limiting our options can actually help us focus on what is really important in a painting. So now let's talk about painting the same artwork multiple times. This piece originally sold, which is always exciting, but recreating a painting is an interesting challenge. Now, most people assume that the second or the third version would be a lot easier, right? And sometimes it can be, but you already understand the composition, you know what worked, and you know where the focal points are going to be. But sometimes that familiarity can make things a little bit harder, because the first painting often has that spontaneous quality to it because you're discovering everything for the first time and you're responding more naturally to your paint and your water. But when you try to recreate it, there is a temptation to force things, to make them look exactly like the original. So I get it. As a student, when you're trying to copy tutorials on here, it can be very frustrating. But the funny thing is that watercolor, it rarely cooperates. That water is going to always move differently. The pigments are always going to settle differently, and the brush marks might change. And even if I wanted to create an exact duplicate, it really isn't possible. And every painting really just kind of develops its own personality. And honestly, I think that's one of the reasons collectors love original work. There's only one version of that exact painting. So as this painting or piece develops, I'm beginning to strengthen some of my middle values or my midtones. Many beginner paintings stay trapped in that mid-range where nothing is very light and nothing is very dark. Everything kind of sits somewhere in the in-between, like Stranger Things. It's an upside down world. But the result often for a painting this way feels very dull or very flat. So when artists talk about creating contrast, they're really talking about expanding that value range. So in a painting, we need the lights, we need the darks, and we need everything in between. And those differences really are what is going to create some visual interest in your painting. So one exercise that you might want to try is squinting at your painting. When you squint, details disappear and you're left mostly with seeing the values of a painting. So it's a really simple trick and it can really quickly reveal whether your painting has enough contrast. So now I'm moving on to some darker passages here. This is usually where a painting starts to come to life for me. The darks give that lighter area something to push against, and without the dark values, the highlights don't have nearly as much impact. And I often tell my students that watercolor is really a balancing act between patience and confidence. Patience because we need to allow areas to dry, and confidence because eventually we have to commit to those darker values. And that's often the moment that feels the most scary. But it's also the moment that your paintings really start to transform. And I remember my mom actually telling me this. I don't know how many times I've said this in my classes, but my mom would always say, where there's light, there's dark, and where there's dark, there's light. Because without one or the other, you don't have it, right? So an interesting thing to think about with monochromatic work is how it can really influence your mood. If you have like a cool blue monochromatic painting, you can feel very peaceful, very reflective. A sepia painting can feel very nostalgic. And a green painting can often make you feel really connected to nature. That's why I think another one of my top paintings is the fog, and the other one where it's all pine trees in the mist, but again, it has all greens in there for the most part. Even with just one color, we can create emotion and atmosphere with that. So color may be limited, but expression certainly isn't when you're trying to paint those moody, misty kind of landscapes. And I think that's one reason I keep returning to a monochromatic studies throughout the year. Another one of my very favorite paintings was actually sold to a person in Hollywood. That's all I'll say, to give them their privacy. I don't know what I want to say. But anyway, it was black trees through a forest and two single cardinals sitting there. And I've recreated that one too as one of my courses because, first of all, I was really excited I sold it to somebody famous. And second of all, it made me feel really happy too. And it was called Just Us Two. So they are very simple, but they're incredibly effective teachers for us. So every time I do one, I learn something new about contrast, about light, edges, and composition. And so as I add the final details to this, I'm really taking a moment to compare this version to my previous two. And even though the subject is identical, each painting has its own character. And some areas will feel a little softer, some feel a little bolder, some have a little bit more contrast in them. And each one has taught me really something different. And that's one of the beautiful things about art. Even when we're painting the same subject, we're never really painting the same painting. We're bringing a different version of ourselves to the paper each and every time, because our moods change, our days change, our thoughts change, and our feelings change. So if you've ever felt frustrated with your watercolors, try giving a monochromatic painting a try. Choose one color that you love, and then focus on creating a full range of values in that painting. So you're going to pay attention to your lights and to your darks. And you may discover that improving your values improves every painting that comes afterward. So I'd love to hear from you. Do you enjoy monochromatic paintings, or do you prefer working with lots of color? And have you ever painted the same subject multiple times? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you didn't get a chance to check out some other value paintings, we've done some of this in my Patreon, and I will share the link to the monochromatic bird scene that I talked about earlier.
So I hope that helped you a little bit. I hope that you enjoyed watching the process and just listening to my my troubles and my woes that I went through with selling a painting 3 times on Etsy. And I will tell you this, if you have an Etsy shop, if you sell something, try relisting it, because I have found when I relist my items, and it could be because of ads that ran previously, it's still continuing to roll. And I have another one that I have listed and relisted a few times because it was a small mini one that was easy for me to do, and it was one of the most popular areas. So I'm not sure if it was the area itself or it was because I had already listed it. But that one has sold numerous times, and then I have a print that has sold numerous times. So give that a try. See if that works for you. I have no claim to fame with that, but it's just something that I noticed. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.